Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And today I'm reviewing American Horror Story Double Feature, Season 10, Episode 9, Blue Moon. And before I get into today's review, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And like B always says, podcast down in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into today's review. I wasn't here last week to do the review of Trav, but last week's episode was fire. I enjoyed last week's episode more than the first episode of Take Me to Your Leader. I just feel like that they were just moving along really well, and this episode was just as good. I just thought it was interesting that we see that Eisenhower, like, he's back in charge after, I'm assuming, John F. Kennedy is still alive too. I want to say like that part was kind of confusing because I believe like on last week's episode, John F. Kennedy had got taken out. And then on this week's episode, he was still alive, but then I think they mentioned that he gets taken out again. I don't know. Maybe that didn't happen in last week's episode. Maybe I just had a brain fart, but yeah, that was kind of confusing to me. Let me know in the comments if I am wrong about that, but it was just crazy just seeing that the aliens were underneath the house while Eisenhower was in the house. Maybe that was a flashback. See, that's what I mean. It's like I feel like that because they were showing like the different time periods, like it was just kind of jumping all over the place. So maybe that was a flashback, but we see that the aliens are underneath the house. We're introduced to Valiant Thor and how he just, it's a white light that just appears in front of the White House, and like this dude is just coming there and he's taking everybody out. It was very crazy. Also too, when we see that Mrs. Eisenhower, how she has the alien inside of her now, and pretty much she's telling Eisenhower and then the rest of the people that it's just like, if you guys don't do what we tell you to do, then we're going to pretty much end, like, you know, the relationship will end and whatnot. But then Valiant Thor, he lets them know that if you guys don't do what we tell you to do, that the aliens are just going to come by force. Now also too, like, he's an android, and I thought it was cool when he came into the White House and he had showed the technology that how far advanced the aliens were, and it was an iPod, the original iPod. So I thought that was really cool. Something else that I like about what they're doing on this seat, well, this part of the double feature is, you know, all of the references that we've heard over the years in pop culture and stuff, like where it's like the government, like they have technology that's way far advanced. Like right now we could have in the stores, we have the iPhone 13, but the government, they already have like the iPhone 20, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that was interesting. The whole thing with the moon landing being fake and finding out that it was filmed at Area 51. There was something else too that had, the stuff with Marilyn Monroe and how, you know, we know the story that she had ended up overdosing, but in this we find out that the reason why she was taken out was because JFK was revealing stuff to her about the aliens, and they had to, you know, put a stop to it because in one of the movies that she was doing, she was talking about the aliens and all that stuff. So I just like that they brought like the real world rumors and stories and myths and all that stuff, and they put it into this season. But yeah, and then also too, like when Mrs. Eisenhower, when she was sleeping with Thor, like I was just like, yo, and it was wild. Like it's like this dude, because of course he's an android, and it's just like Eisenhower, Ike, he just walks up into the room and she just stops, and he's just like, Thor is just still looking forward. I thought that was funny. It was messed up, but it was funny. But yeah, like I said, you know, I like that they're in Area 51 now, and how we see like all of the alien tubes and all this other stuff. And I like that we get to see the stuff that happened back in the past, and then we see the stuff that's happening in the current timeline, or the present day, that is. And we see that Troy, because we saw at the end of last week's episode that he was on the table, and in this episode, he does end up having the baby after Theta. She cuts the baby outside of his stomach, and the baby comes out healthy. And pretty much what they're trying to do is they want to make a perfect alien baby where the alien looks like a human, but it's an alien. And what keeps happening is the babies, they come out and they look like aliens, and they want to be able to have it so that way that the aliens can live amongst the people without scaring regular normal humans that there are aliens on the earth. But yeah, and then also too, when we find out with Calico that she's been in Area 51 for all these years, we find that out on last week's episode, and how, once you're in Area 51, like, you're just there forever, and you're just going to continue to keep on having babies until the perfect baby ends up coming out. And at the end of the episode, Cal, he's going into labor, he's about to have his kid, and Troy is just like, yo, we're not going to let them kill the baby, so let's go ahead and have this baby. And then they go to the fake moon landing place, and when Troy cuts them open, the baby, it comes out fine until we see that it has tentacles on the bottom, and then it becomes a face hugger like from the Alien movies. And I just thought that was crazy. Also too, because I had mentioned on one of the reviews, the first review that I had did when we were doing this part of Death Valley for the double feature reviews, on Legends of Tomorrow, because they're dealing with aliens and stuff like that. If you don't know what Legends of Tomorrow is, it's a show on the CW, and it's a time traveling show and all this other stuff. But J. Edgar Hoover, he's on that show right now. Like on the latest episode, he was up there. So, and then on this episode, he's up here. So it's man, I don't know. Maybe it's the aliens, and it's a strong coincidence that like all of this stuff is going on right now. But yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. Just seeing everything that's going on, and how like he wants to tell people the truth, because he signed that treaty so that way that the aliens could abduct people, so that way that they can try and make the perfect alien baby. And I understand why he wants to let humans know what's really going on, but I mean, we already know. And then also too, something too that Thor says is that the aliens were lying about taking the stuff to Russia, because it was like Russia's technology is way behind American technology. So like that's the reason why Thor was like, if you guys don't work with us, then we're just gonna take everything by force. I mean, so also too, when Kaliko, when she was telling her story on how she found out about that the moon landing was fake, because Buzz Aldrin and what was the other guy's name? I'm so mad that I forgot his name. Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. There we go. Thank you. Please don't kill me. They were at the bar that she was working at, and pretty much they told her everything that happened, the lines and all that stuff. And after she finished doing adult relations with them, the Men in Black showed up. And also too, like, yo, these Men in Black, they're not using the neuralizers to take people out. Like, they killing people. Like, these guys at Area 51 don't play. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen on next week's episode. It's crazy that next week's episode is the season finale. I feel like with Death Valley, there really weren't that many episodes. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 episodes of Death Valley and 6 episodes of Red Tide. So it's pretty interesting that they're wrapping it up so fast. But at the same time, American Horror Story, they always have just 10 episodes per season. So I wonder why they didn't just do 5 and 5. But either way, I mean, I feel like the story that they're telling is moving along quite well. And I'm just happy that with what they're doing with double feature, and we're getting 2 separate stories. And, I just like everything that's going on so far. So for me, I give this episode, I give it an 8 out of 10. But, let me know in the comments what you thought about this week's episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are you expecting to see in next week's episode on the season finale? And with that being said, You know where you can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks at @KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again for watching this review. Make sure you check out some more of our reviews that we have here on the channel, along with interviews and reaction videos, our podcast, where we have new episodes that drop every Tuesday, and then the video of that episode is up here on YouTube that Friday. Like I always say, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.